Hello, this is Scribbled, and today we're back with Pokemon Run and Bun, the hardest Pokemon Nuzlocke ROM hack in the world. So today we are starting our trip back to Petalburg City to face the next gym leader, Norman, onto Route 103, where we're starting off with a double battle against trainers Rhett and Marcos. So this is a bit of a nasty battle where one trainer has a bunch of really strong attackers, but they're all reasonably slow. And then the other trainer has a bunch of tailwind setters which help to modify the speed of those slow attackers, meaning they're going to both outspeed and outdamage me. I've got no mons that can one-hit KO both Crobat and Noivern as the two tailwind setters, which makes baiting those Pokemon into attacks and preventing them from using tailwind really difficult. I've got a Nidoqueen, which I've taught Ice Punch to try and handle both of them, and she barely survives Crabominable's Ice Punch. Ledian out here, Ledian can't survive hits and isn't fast enough for me to use Encore shenanigans, so right now it's here just to bait attacks. So Ledian baits both Crobat's dual wing beat and Crabominable's Ice Punch. So we're going to start out with Nidoqueen Ice Punching Crobat, and Ledian is just immediately going to switch into Caracosta, so it doesn't have to deal with those attacks. Caracosta pre-damaged a little bit just to ensure it's baiting the correct attacks in future turns, and is underleveled because all I'm using it for at the moment is protecting and baiting attacks. So Nidoqueen going for its first hit against Crobat, not quite enough damage to kill it. And then Caracosta baiting that Ice Punch. Caracosta holding an Aspia Berry just in case it gets frozen, which it does not. We love saving a berry. Cool, so now Nidoqueen is going to finish off the Crobat. Caracosta is going to protect. Caracosta is at too much HP to bait Crobat's dual wing beat, so Crobat is going to get a Tailwind off here, unfortunately. Is guaranteed to bait Crabominable's close combat. I couldn't find a way of denying my opponent from using Tailwind at all, because in order to bait a guaranteed attack from Crobat, my Pokemon would have to be at really low HP, and at that point I'm baiting a completely random move from Crabominable, which makes it really hard to switch into after Caracosta has already used Protect. So we're just copping the Tailwind and we're going to fight through it. So Caracosta is low enough to bait guaranteed attacks from both Crabominable and Noivern, and Nidoqueen doesn't die to anything, so Caracosta is going to switch into Torterra. Caracosta is at too high of an HP to bait Ice Punch, so Crabominable will never Ice Punch here, so we're seeing a Dragon Pulse, and then either Close Combat or, Close Combat. It could have been Crab Hammer there, but it doesn't matter either way. So Torterra taking a lot of damage, but can't be crit, so it makes this a lot safer. Torterra is holding a Citrus Berry, just to make sure it is baiting the right attacks going forward. So, Noivern down. So now we finished off one of my opponents, all of their trainers, which means the rest of the match is a 2v1. Still tough, even with that advantage. So, here we've got Tailwind up for the opponent, so Crabominable is outspeeding, and it sees a guaranteed kill on Torterra with Ice Punch and possibly Close Combat. So what we're going to start out by doing is we're going to switch Nidoqueen for Xatu, and we're going to switch Torterra for Galvantula. So Torterra is always beating the attack here, and Galvantula never dies to any of Crabominable's attacks, even if they critically hit. Was most likely to be Ice Punch, which is the strongest move here, but that's okay. And Galvantula is holding an Aspia Berry just in case that froze. So now we are at the last turn of Tailwind, and Galvantula is exactly one speed point higher than Crabominable in Tailwind. So what's going to happen here is Xatu is going to Psychic, and Galvantula is going to Electro Web, which is going to drop Crabominable's speed, allowing Xatu to outspeed Crabominable in Tailwind, and finish it off. Sweet. Okay. Combo attack. I'm really glad that I didn't have Galvantula forget Electro Web. Really helpful in this position. Alright, now we got Tailwind expiring, so we are back to having the speed advantage here. Heracross is sent out first because it one-shots Galvantula and doesn't see that it dies to Xatu. So Xatu is going to Air Slash, and then I'm going to switch Nidoqueen in for Galvantula to take a hit. So I could go with the same strategy and have Galvantula Electro Web to lower the speed of Heracross so that Xatu then outspeeds and kills it one shot. But that leaves me in a really bad position against Poliwrath because I can't actually kill Poliwrath with that combination of Pokemon, thanks to its Citrus Berry. So I'm switching out Nidoqueen here to get a better position. Killing the Heracross. Don't actually need Galvantula's help to kill the Heracross because Xatu is a beast. Cool, and now we're out against Poliwrath. So Poliwrath sees a guaranteed kill against Nidoqueen. Does get outsped by Xatu, and then Nidoqueen is just going to swap back in for Torterra. So it's guaranteed to bait a Liquidation, which Torterra is going to shrug off just fine. In for the Psychic, doing a ton of damage. Gonna eat the Citrus Berry. I think there's a chance that Poliwrath might actually use Belly Drum here. Yeah, okay, it is. So it's got a good chance to use Belly Drum if it doesn't see that I kill it after it uses Belly Drum and then restores health with Citrus Berry. So I didn't actually need to get all that fancy, but we got around it anyway. And that's 3 kills for Xatu. Xatu's really racking up the kill count this match. Alright, first double battle down. Good start onto the way back to Norman. Next up, Pokefan Miguel. I'll be honest, it's been a hot minute since I actually planned out this fight. Maybe 2 months ago, because I haven't touched this game in a hot minute. Bit of a break since the last fight. So I don't remember too much about the fight and the details, besides what I've written out, or what I struggled with. I remember specifically really struggling with this guy's Mimikyu, which was just a massive pain to build around, because I don't really have any Pokemon that hit it for super effective damage. And its Disguise ability means I need to hit it twice in order to, at least twice, in order to kill it. It also has Swords Dance, which it can use to set up if it doesn't see that I kill it. Which is generally going to be the case, given its Disguise ability and its fantastic typing. So let's get right into it. Starting out against Dedenne. So I think Dedenne is likely to use Electric Terrain here to set up for the Togedemaru in the back. But I can two-shot this with Earth Power. Yep, there we see the Electric Terrain. Earth Power coming out. Would never have killed because Dedenne is holding a Focus Sash, so this is always going to be a two-shot. Dedenne's got Super Fang, so it can deal 50% of my HP, even though it can't hit me with its Stab Electric attack, empowered by the Electric Terrain. But I'm not going to kill it with Gastrodon. I'm going to switch out into Caracosta, who is underleveled and has been pre-damaged down to 52 HP. So then he's going to go for the Super Fang. This will never kill, always does half of your current HP. So what I'm using Caracosta for is I've got Aqua Jet, so I can finish off the Dedenne as a priority attack before it can get an attack off. But I want to start out by using Protect, so I can stall out the Electric Terrain. I want that to disappear before Togedemaru can come out and start taking advantage of it. So that is 3 turns of Electric Terrain wasted now. So now we finish Dedenne off with an Aqua Jet. Caracosta with the level up. Trying to learn Power Gem, that is a bad move on you, so no thanks. I think I'm good. Rock Slide is just better. Caracosta's a physical attacker. Alright, next we have the Togedemaru. So Togedemaru is going to go for the kill with Zing Zap, but I'm again going to stall out a turn with Protect here. Protect not super useful generally in single battles, but here letting me stall out terrain effects is proving to have a bit of extra utility. Alrighty, so next I'm swapping back to Gastrodon. There's a good chance that Togedemaru will go for Zing Zap and it will do no damage to Gastrodon. It might still Iron Head though, in case it sees a kill with that. But there we go, we get the ineffective Zing Zap, so a free switch for me. But Gastrodon won't be taking the kill here. We're going to be switching to Pyroar. The switch to Gastrodon here was just to guarantee that Togedemaru... I can't say Pokemon names today. Togedemaru can't use Zing Zap on my switch to Pyroar. So it's just gone for Magnet Rise, because it saw that I have a ground type move, so it wants to get around me one-shotting it with that. But foolish Togedemaru, Pyroar doesn't have any ground type attacks. So now Pyroar's come in, we're going for a Flamethrower, and I believe it's just one-shots. There we go. Too strong, too strong. Pyro was really dragging its weight around in my team before it evolved, which it of all the fire types you can catch early in this game, it has, I think, the latest evolution level. But it's proven helpful now. It's one of my faster Pokemon, and my team is really slow overall, so it is nice to have at this point. Alrighty, so Mimikyu switched in now, the monster of this team. So I believe what I'm doing here is I'm starting out with Incinerate to get rid of Mimikyu's Lumberry. And to pop its disguise, of course. Goodbye, healthy Mimikyu. Hello, unhealthy Mimikyu. Alright, we're seeing a Terrain Punch. This should never kill, even with a critical hit. Yeah, it does under half damage. It had a chance to Swords Dance there, but it decided not to. So now I'm swapping out to Luxray. Getting an Intimidate in as I switch in, reducing its attack. So Mimikyu going for another Drain Punch. It's decided it's not going to waste any time setting up on me, which makes this fight a little bit easier. So now that Pyro has incinerated to remove Mimikyu's Lumberry, I can hit in for a Nuzzle and paralyze it here. Mimikyu going for a Play Rough. Play Rough was another part of why this fight was so difficult to plan, because it has a 10% chance to lower attack. And I don't want to take any risks, so I wanted to make a line that would win even if Mimikyu got every single attack drop off of Play Rough possible, which made it a real pain. But we got there in the end. Alrighty, so Mimikyu's now paralyzed, so I'm going to switch into Torterra. Now, you're going to see me use a lot of the Pokemon on my team to try and handle this Mimikyu. The paralysis is nice. It makes my plan to beat this Pokemon look very over-prepared, but you got to do what you got to do. Plan for the worst. So Torterra's going for a Giga Drain. Not going to be gaining any HP, but the HP gain off of that would have been needed in case Mimikyu had set up a Swords Dance and then attacked through paralysis. Giga Drain is done. Switching to the Edo Queen. Yeah, this fight, this plan probably seems very frivolous at this point, but once you've got a line that that works in every situation, no point deviating from it, even if it looks a bit excessive at this point. So now we're going for a Sludge Bomb with Mimikyu. So Mimikyu is going for Shadow Sneak, because it probably... I'm actually not sure why. Oh, obviously, because I resist Play Rough. I'm not sure why I went for Shadow Sneak against Torterra, because I don't think Torterra could have killed in this situation. Now I will break from the line, because I was supposed to kill this with Pyroar, which resists Play Rough and is immune to Shadow Sneak, but no need for that anymore. Mimikyu's going to try and go for one last ditch effort for a Shadow Sneak. I got a lot of full paralysis in this fight, so lucky me, I guess. But there we go. The monster's defeated. Yeah, it really did not look that threatening from this fight. So I guess I'll take it. That's a win. It could have been worse, and I'm glad it wasn't. Alrighty, next up is my first wild Pokemon encounter while recording a video in this channel. This one is Altering Cave, so just off the coast of Route 103. For context, before I started, before I'm looking at this encounter, I tried calculating my line for the next trainer fight, just to see if there was a specific Pokemon I want to look for, or if I can potentially hold off and then come back to it to the cave later. But I'm really struggling with the next trainer, so I really think I would like to get something that'll help me for that fight. So, what Pokemon are available in this area? We've got Riolu, Timburr, Sandshrew, Alola, Magnemite, Bergmite, Numeral, Porygon, Gurdurr, Sandslash Alola, Magneton, and Torkoal. I think Torkoal is probably the most helpful here, given that the next Pokemon, or the Pokemon in the next fight that I'm really struggling with is a Lurantis, so something that can help me beat that would be really nice. But there seems like there is a couple nice options here, so we'll see. Alright, what's it gonna be? We see a Torkoal? We see a... oh, Porygon. I've heard that this is the worst Pokemon in this cave. I mean, who's to say, right? It could be good. I don't think you ever get an Eviolite in this game, so Porygon 2 is not as strong as it's historically known to be. But, I mean, let's just catch it first and then see how it goes. Porygon acquired. Alrighty. What abilities can you have? Porygon can have Trace. Already didn't see a Trace, so I think it's Analytic. That could be helpful, given how slow I think Porygon is. And generally, opposing trainers have really fast teams, thanks to their maximum stats, so I'll probably get some use of it. Let me go back and check the IVs on this guy. Alrighty, Porygon, show me something good. Yep, Analytic, that is. Oh, Jolly Nature. That's got to be the worst possible nature for a Porygon. Oh, man. I guess Adamant would probably be worse as well, but you're a special attacker, so that's not nice to see. And IVs wise, okay. That's really interesting. Okay, this Porygon really wants to lean physically offensive. Hey, I mean, overall that's a pretty high result. 0 defense is kind of nuts. Low special attack. Yeah, those are the two stats I think I probably want with this one. But overall, I mean, the numbers are pretty good. So we'll see. We'll maybe find a use out for you. Alrighty, up next is Aroma Lady Daisy. This one was a massive pain. So, starting Pokemon is a Gourgeist, which loves to set Trick Room to support a team full of slow Pokemon. That one is not so bad, because my Pyroar can one-shot it using Flamethrower while holding a pair of Wise Glasses. for the increased damage boost. However, the second Pokemon that's going to come out caused me a lot of grief. Lurantis. So Lurantis has Contrary, and it uses Superpower to turn those stat drops into stat increases. And unfortunately, I've got probably the worst fire type for dealing with this, being one that is weak to Superpower. So I spent forever trying to find a riskless line for beating this, and I just don't think my box is capable of it. So I am just risking the critical hit with Pyroar against the Superpower. So fingers crossed. Alright, Flamethrower out. Flamethrower does good damage. Here's the Superpower. Okay, alright, we're in the clear. Alright, not a kind of risk that I want to open myself up to too much, but this was taking me way too long. Alright, Flamethrower is up again. Round 2, Lurantis is down. Alrighty, next out will be Exeggutor Alola. So, Exeggutor sees a kill here. I think it might still Trick Room anyway, though, because it is slower than me. So, Torterra is going to come out here. Torterra walls this pretty well. No, okay, no, it does still go for the kill. Yep, so Dragon Hammer there. So, I don't have any Pokemon that can kill Exeggutor before it sets up Trick Room. So, what's going to happen instead is Torterra is just going to stall out the Trick Room. So Torterra has Shell Armor, so it'll can't be crit, and so I'll never be two-shot against the Exeggutor. So I'm just going to stall out until Trick Room is over. So this is turn 2 of Trick Room. I do want to save Synthesis PP a little bit, but it's not too bad. So I should be able to get roughly to full HP. So this is turn 3, taking another Wood Hammer. Lots of damage. Synthesis again. So Exeggutor is holding a Citrus Berry, so if it gets to below half health, it'll use that. And then it might be able to harvest back another one. So this is turn 4 of Trick Room. We're going to see the Citrus Berry activate this turn, possibly. So what was my plan for up to this? Stall until the turn before Trick Room ends, and okay, and now I'm switching into Galvantula. So this should take a Wood Hammer, but I resist that one, so that's okay. Looks like it might just be 1 HP above half or something like that. But this will knock it down, and it'll use the Citrus Berry now. Yep, there we go. Okay. Funky Gen 3 AI with the held items not working until the end of the turn. Alright, Trick Room is over, and now I'm going for Signal Beam for the kill. Great, okay. Last Pokemon down. And the last one is a bit of a demon as well. We've got a Florges coming out. So this Florges is really hard to kill. And it does quite a bit of damage. Thankfully it's pretty slow because it's trying to rely on the Trick Room, but that is over now. So, we've got... what was my plan here? I think it was switching back to Torterra, because I'm expecting either a Dazzling Gleam or a Psychic. And I need to confirm that I'm going to get Dazzling Gleam, I believe. So, yes, okay, so Torterra is now guaranteed to bait Dazzling Gleam, and now I need to bring in Gastrodon. So, Florges has Giga Drain, which would kill the Gastrodon, so I need to make sure that I'm not baiting Giga Drain when I switch Gastrodon in. So there's the Dazzling Gleam. Does a good chunk, but now it is guaranteed to bait Giga Drain. And now I'm switching in Lydian on the Giga Drain, which is 4 times resisted. There's a lot of switching and a lot of slots dedicated just for this one Pokemon. I think I've dedicated 4 whole team slots just for this Florges because it's that painful to deal with. So barely any damage here. Sending out an Encore against the Florges to lock it into Giga Drain. Lydian continuing to prove its worth, doing a lot of things that no one else can do. And then we're going to switch into Nidoqueen, which will finally pick up the kill after a lot of stalling. And we've got 2 Poison Jabs should take this out. Using Poison Jab over Sludge Bomb because Floor just has much less physical defense than special. So Giga Drum will heal it a little bit, but the Poison Jab will be able to take it out. Encore is over, but it doesn't matter because Nidoqueen outspeeds and kills. Let's go. Alright. Glad to have won that one after all the grief it was causing me with the Lurantis. Hopefully not having to take that many risks in future fights, at least not for a while. Next up is twins Amy and Liv. So the theme of this team so it's a double battle, and it plans to put all of your Pokemon to sleep. And then it has Pokemon like Gengar and Hypno that take advantage of your sleeping Pokemon with Bad Dreams and Dream Eater. And Corviknight also has Unnerve, which prevents you from using Chesto Berries as a way of getting around it. So we're starting out with a classic pre-damaged Caracosta lead to bait attacks into it while I protect. And then while that happens, Galvantula is going to get an Electro Web off to lower both the opposing Pokemon speeds, because Gengar is too fast for any of my Pokemon to outspeed, even the Galvantula that outlevels it, because Gengar has better IVs than I do. So Caracosta here is baiting in 2 single target attacks, so Galvantula is not taking any damage. Gengar's got a Black Sludge, but it doesn't matter because it is very frail and it will die in 1 hit afterwards. So we've got Xatu is switching in for Galvantula, and I'm going to swap Caracosta with Pyroar. So Caracosta still baiting those 2 attacks. And with the Pyroar coming in, Gengar is going to be using Hex into it, which won't affect it, being a normal type. Xatu is also pre-damaged to bait attacks, but that'll be for a future turn, because we'll be killing both of these Pokemon in 1 hit. So we've got Xatu will be Psychicking the Gengar, and we'll get a Flamethrower on the Corviknight. So we'll outspeed both of these. The Galvantula Compound Eyes Electro Web coming in really clutch. And off for a second kill here. Pyro been getting a lot of kills lately. Nice for the others to catch up. Caracosta gaining level here, which is, as always, unfortunate on my Protectmon. Really wanting to keep that at a low level so it can bait attacks in for the Protect. But that's just the price I pay for using it, I guess. So now we've got a Persian coming out, which also has Unnerve to keep the preventing of the Chesto Berries. And a Hypno. So Hypno is really dangerous if you're not prepared for it, because it's got Dark Void. But thankfully, this is why I've pre-burned both of my Pokemon that are coming in here, so neither of them will be put to sleep. And Hypno actually has no moves that do anything if your Pokemon aren't asleep. So it's got, I think, Nightmare and Dream Eater, both of those relying on your Pokemon being asleep in order to do anything. So these pre-burned Pokemon mean that Hypno is a sitting duck. So we're going to take a bit of chip damage. Persian was guaranteed to fake out into the Ursaring slot here because it was previously a Xatu, which was very low HP from pre-damage. So we're going to launch a Brick Break into Persian, and we're going to set up a Tailwind with Ledian so that both of my Pokemon can outspeed following into the next turn. So Persian going for a Flail. So Persian's holding a Focus Sash, so Brick Break will not kill it here. Really deadly combination with Flail. Flail doing more damage the lower HP Persian's at. So Flail right now is basically guaranteed to one-shot my entire team. But the Tailwind coming in clutch here, meaning I will outspeed it. Hypno's Bad Dreams keeps coming up, but I think that's just a bug. So Ursaring will be going for a slash into the Hypno. And Ledian will be getting a kill, which is super exciting, finishing off the 1 HP Persian with its Aerial Ace. Ledian has awful attack, and it is burned, but it doesn't matter, it's still strong enough to deal 1 damage. Alrighty, and we've got the slash coming into Hypno. Critical hit, bit of overkill, given Hypno wasn't really doing anything, but... And final Pokemon coming out now is a Jinx. So Jinx has Paper Thin defense, so it will die to a Guts Burn Slash coming from Ursaring. And Tailwind's still up, meaning that I'll outspeed and get the kill before it can move. Yeah. Awesome fight design. Managed to build around it, which was cool. Next up is against Fisherman... What was your name again? Fisherman Andrew. Final fight before getting back to the Petalburg Gym. So this is a tricky fight. I had to try out 3 different lines on this before I got one that worked. Because one of his Pokemon has an item that you really want to steal. So you want to set up a fight so you can steal that. We'll get to that later. So starting up against the Jellicent. Jellicent is really tanky and really hard for my team to kill. So I'm doing some setup here so that 2 Pokemon can kill it. Starting out with Walrein on Icy Wind to lower its speed. I'm already outspeeding it, but I need to set this up so that Ursaring can outspeed it and kill it. So Walrein is pre-damaged here so that I bait Shadow Ball and not Ring Out, because given they both have the same base power when I'm at full HP. And I need to guarantee Shadow Ball because Ursaring's immune to that. So now, thanks to the Icy Wind, Ursaring outspeeds and one-shots with a Guts boosted Thunder Punch. So down goes Jellicent. So next we'll be seeing, after a bit of pre-damage, or after a bit of damage from Burn, Barrascuda coming out. So Barrascuda does a lot of damage, and it actually does too much damage for me to switch in something else and kill it. But thankfully it doesn't do quite enough damage where it kills Ursaring with a critical hit. There's the critical hit, so I do live that. And Ursaring just gets to chain kill it with another Burn boosted Thunder Punch. So Ursaring really coming in clutch for me here. Alrighty, and next we will have Bruxish coming out. So the line kind of splits here depending on how much damage my Luxray takes on this switch in. If it takes a lot of damage, so if it gets crit, then I'll need to do some switching around with Golem. But if I don't get crit, I believe I can go straight into Torterra. So we've got Crunch here, no crit, and which means the Intimidate drop is reducing a lot of damage here, so I don't need to go through Golem, I can instead go straight to Torterra. So, especially with the potential of Crunch defense dropping, wanted to make extra sure that this line was safe, because things could burst through the Intimidate attack drop and get quite messy. But we dodged that, thankfully. So, Torterra is starting out, we're going to start out with a Stomping Tantrum just to get a little bit of damage. I want to be able to kill this with a Giga Drain to steal some HP, so I end up with as much HP as possible. But Giga Drain isn't guaranteed to kill, so I need to do a little bit of damage first. Now we're going to stall out for a little bit with Synthesis, try and get back to full HP. Thankfully, Intimidated Bruxish only sees Psychic Fangs as its highest damage move against Torterra, which has no secondary effects. So I can Synthesis up until I'm at full health, relying on that Intimidate attack drop. Okay, so we're now at full health, and we're going to finish it off with a Giga Drain. And we'll end up with, like, almost full health, I'm pretty sure. So I'm holding a Leper Berry as well, just in case things got spooky and I needed to Synthesis another 5 times. But that was very unlikely to happen. So yeah, here we see we're almost at full health. So this is the tricky Pokemon. So Delmise is holding, I believe it's a Lagging Tail, which causes it to always move last in its priority bracket. So that is a pretty bad item, but I really want to steal it because, especially in double battles in the future, there are some lines that become available if you force one of your Pokemon that's normally fast to be really slow, so that it baits fast kills from the opponents, so you can manipulate the AI in that way. So Delmise is quite likely to switcheroo to give me that item, given the AI knows that it's a negative item, but it's not guaranteed to. So basically I want to stall out this battle by doing as little damage as possible until I see the switcheroo, which there it is. on the first turn, so not having to stall that for too long. So Delmise gets my Leper Berry, and I steal its Lagging Tail. So let's get Torterra out of there as soon as possible, just in case Delmise feels like taking its Lagging Tail back. So there's Pyroar coming out. So Delmise getting an Iron Head in, but Pyroar resists all, or is immune to all of Delmise's attacks. Pyroar being the only Pokemon I have that I think can switch in here and survive. Which is helpful because it's also the Pokemon that is getting the kill. Alrighty, Delmise is down. Lagging Tail is obtained. Opponent is defeated. And that was the last fight before Petalburg Gym. So that'll be exciting. Lots of choices in that one, in the gym upcoming. Haven't had a gym yet recorded, so this will be exciting. So looking forward to that. We will see you there on a next episode, eventually.